entrepreneurship journey is not a straight line. It's exactly like an ECG graph. It goes up, it comes down, goes up, comes down, like this. Yeah, let me tell you one down moment for us was the COVID. COVID was real disaster for the travel industry. The people, countries have shut their borders, travel restrictions were there. Probably this is the kind of crisis which our previous two generations also haven't seen. So that's the kind of crisis travel world has faced. And of course,
Hello and welcome to another episode of Searching Soulmates podcast, a space where we celebrate kindness, conversations, connections, and the little things that make life meaningful. My name is Munmun Shah Poddar, the founder of Searching Soulmates. Through our hobby communities and the expert-led conversation, we try to help people feel heard and seen. Today, I'm absolutely delighted to have someone with me who breeds exploration. He's an entrepreneur, an author, a startup mentor, and a podcaster himself. With a strong foundation from the hotel management industry, he has built a tour operation company which thrives on just not providing for a trip, but rather providing for an experience. It gives me immense pleasure to have Mr. Abhishek Sengupta, the founder of Hotel Travelia, who, just like me, is a travel enthusiast. He has taken to the next level of building his own company. At Searching Soulmate, we believe that travel is just not about that destination. It is about the memories, the connections, and most importantly, the empathy that you build in that journey. And like me, Abhishek is also somebody who believes that empathy makes people walk the talk and walk those extra miles. And hence, I am super excited to have this conversation. Welcome, Abhishek. And I am so glad to have you for our podcast.
thank you so much. It's a real honor to be a guest in your podcast, Munmun. Thank you so much once again.
It's been some time, in my mind that we should start having more people around our hobby clubs. And today, you are one of the first people to appear for one of the specified hobby club which we have at Searching Soulmate. It's a hobby community. We call it the clubs, and it is travel club. And the best part about the travel club is that we have people who come to these clubs to celebrate, connections, to celebrate the memories, and to have a lot of conversation about upcoming trips, upcoming experiences they want to experience, and not to forget, they also help each other out when there are crisis moments. And with this very essence, I'm sure our conversation will be super exciting, and it would be super entertaining for people who would be listening to us and who would be watching us. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and do listen to the end of the conversation, because I am sure, like every other podcast, there's a lot of things which you're going to learn from Abhishek.
Thank you so much. I'm sure your viewers and your listeners will get a real value from our conversation.
Abhishek, now that we already know that you are an author, an entrepreneur, a podcaster yourself, and you are a startup mentor also. So in this entire journey, if you have something which has stuck you and you feel that this is a lesson to learn, or this is the way I should navigate my life, or this is the way people should think their life ahead. Any such such, I would say, observation from your own journey?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for giving me so many hats, rather. And at times it's very difficult to wear so many hats, That's how it is. Yeah. I must say this is just a journey of time. Where you start, it's always important you should start. And moment you keep on running, you keep on walking, whatever across the road, you will keep on getting different hands like this. Of course, as you have rightly mentioned in your introduction, first, I must say it's one of the wonderful, finest introduction I have ever got rather. Okay, yes, I started my journey as a hotel management graduate from IHM Taratala, and then I started with hotel front office. Okay, then that was one aspect. I must say a lot of learnings over there because when a guest is checking into any of the hotel, you will have to take a lot of fine tuning. You have to take a little fine detailing of the guest so that guest have a very amazing, seamless, and any hassle-free stay in the hotel. So this is one aspect which we learned from operations. It's eye for details. That's point number one. Point number two is that then I shifted to sales, which is the commercial part of the hotel. Now here, what happens? You deal with negotiations. You develop good corporate connections, client connection. You nurture those connections and everything. So while walking through this journey, so these two are the real takeaways from me. And next comes my entrepreneurship sting or the bug of entrepreneurship biting me. Many called this as my midlife crisis. Although I was nowhere near to the midlife at that point of time. I'm expected to live a little more longer, so that time it was not my midlife. So anyway, so that was there, and suddenly one morning I stepped into that. I put my papers down and started something. So I was a part of the hotel. I have developed the connections and everything, and started something which was very trending at that point of time. That is .com buzz, right? So I started something, an online travel agency, a replica of so many big agencies. And my website was ready, the API was integrated, everything was done, and all set for launch. We launched it. And any idea how many bookings we got? Big zero, not a single. It failed miserably. Okay, that was the first test of entrepreneurship which we got at that point of time. Okay, now next, what to do? Convert into so-called digitalized business to a brick and mortar model. Okay, nurture the physical connections, start meeting the clients and approach the people whom we knew previously from our hotel journey, and suddenly ball started rolling. And that's how it has gone. So this was one aspect of starting my startup, starting my business, and kept the ball running. This is there. And again, the podcasters and others was just a part of the journey. I always had a knack for writing. I kept on writing and everything. That time blogging and so-called this publication, newsletter were not so prominent at the moment. So we kept on writing in the diary what went wrong, went out. So somehow it took a form of a book at one point of time. So that was my author start of being an author, I must say. And startup mentor was, I was approached by a few people, why don't you share your journey and inspire people who want to start something? Yeah, why not? I'll be happy to do that. That was my journey for mentorship. Podcaster was again during the COVID when everything stopped, the people stopped traveling and the borders closed, everything was there. So let's do some gyan sharing or something like that. So that's how Podcaster came to. They started with a very humble beginning, but slowly we have got some very good clients in my podcast, and that's how wearing so many hats over a period of time.
Fantastic. Now when you mentioned your journey, that when you were a .com business, you made a zero in terms of revenue, but when you started nurturing the relationships, that is when your business started moving in the right direction.
Yes.
So at Searching Soulmate, we are a community where we emphasize a lot of importance on the importance of building healthy relationships. So in spite of the fact that we are a technology company, we are a social networking platform, but what we kind of ask our users is that these connections which you are generating over the online platform, take it forward, nurture, and for the same we do a lot of offline meetups also. So currently we do majorly in Kolkata, but as we grow we are planning outside. So you again re-emphasize the fact that even today I think human connections are something which helps us in our personal as well as our professional lives to kind of find success. and everything you said was about people. It was to pass on knowledge through podcast. As an author, you felt that this is the little I know. I should just say, and at the end of the day, it is connecting with people
True. Absolutely.
in various ways, but at the end it is connecting. And like you, we I am also a startup founder, and I'm sure like our experiences are such rich that we keep on learning from each other. And people who are just starting out, again, they feel heard and seen when a startup mentor is
Absolutely.
helping, right? So I think to wrap up this first segment, I feel that we are so aligned in spite of the fact that we are completely from two different,
different industries.
right? So it's just that somewhere in all this all this, I would say, buzz, we forget the importance of human connections, and that's what Searching Soulmate is all about. Now, Abhishek, that you have spoken about your entire journey from the start of your career, one suggestion you would give to your younger self?
Well, I must say I have a lot of suggestion for my younger self. First and foremost, I must say let's break the conventional way of thinking. That is number one, because times are changing. Because every day, every moment, things are changing. What was relevant today will not be relevant tomorrow, and that's the fact. So we cannot solve the next, future problem with the past, solutions of past. You cannot do that. That's absolutely there. So my first suggestion is to break the conventional way of thinking. That's point number one. Number two, do take risks and fail like we failed, thinking that we are doing something great. We are so obsessed with the idea of so-called startup or entrepreneurship, and people didn't like it, and that was a failure. So take risks, fail. Third is that keep the resilience. Resilience is very important because entrepreneurship journey is not a straight line. It's exactly like an ECG graph. It goes up, it comes down, goes up, comes down, like this. Let me tell you one down moment for us was the COVID. COVID was real disaster for the travel industry. The people, countries have shut their borders, travel restrictions were there. Probably this is the kind of crisis which our previous two generations also haven't seen. So that's the kind of crisis travel world has faced. And of course, and there came the human connection, which you just talked about in the previous point, is that people don't know where to look for, whom to connect for different kind of people. So one thing which we did at that point of time is just a small, it's a minute story over there. People don't know whom to connect, how to get referrals, and all those. So we launched a quick campaign over there. Even if you didn't book through us, feel free to connect to us. Okay, we will help you out.
Yeah.
So you will not believe hundreds of calls we receive. Please, I did this. I don't know how to connect it, how to cancel a ticket. It was a non-cancelable. It was a non-cancelable. It got cancelled because of this lockdown. Will I get the refund? So. 90% of such kind of calls were the people who didn't book through us.
Right.
So that's there. But we helped all of them.
Absolutely.
And the best part is that 90% of those people who we helped during that period are my clients now.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's there. So nurture human connections, take risks, and break the conventional way of thinking. I think these three are the quick points from my end.
Absolutely, and I think as entrepreneurs, somewhere if we look back even at our earlier days, I think we always were prone to taking risk. Had it not been that, I think we wouldn't have been able to leave our comfortable corporate lives and move so easily, because we always knew that I think that is where we want to add value.
True.
I think that was always there.
Absolutely.
Like looking back throughout my career, if I have to say, I have taken a lot of risk. I started off as a banker, but I comfortably left the banking job to be into insurance. People were like, "Are you crazy? You're going into insurance?" I was like, "I'll do fine," and I did fine. And then all of a sudden, I got a great opportunity into a direct sales company, and I moved there. So now, when I say this, I'm not talking that it was reckless behavior, because believe me, sometimes your decisions also guide you to the actual purpose of life. And that's exactly what happened for me. Did you have something like this eureka moment in your life, like the way I had?
Oh, I must say there are a lot rather. There are a lot, not even one. So when I was just going through this transition phase and everything, a lot of people started saying, yeah, what this guy is doing, living midlife crisis, and so that there. But that's we have to come out of our
Yeah.
comfort zone. That was I was hell bent on this. Eureka moment is that when the first venture, that OTA venture, online travel agency venture, failed, and we started nurturing the brick and mortar mode of business. You know, the first call which I got from one of my clients is that I heard you did something, you are doing something travel. I have a plan. Why don't you plan it for me? So that was, I must say, it's not a eureka moment. It was much more than that, I must say. So that was one old person. I must not say old person, an old client of mine, obviously, who was in touch with from so many years, and suddenly took it. Okay, let me trust this guy.
Yeah.
I always say that people pay for trust.
Yeah,
They don't pay
yeah,
for your product or your
absolutely,
service.
absolutely.
So that person trusted me when I didn't had anything.
Yeah.
Probably I was that time. Those
And you
fans-
also had less conviction in yourself, probably, because you didn't know that.
Exactly.
Because when you actually fail somewhere,
Mhm.
you always find that you lack a little conviction. Then you're like,
That's
oh my
always
God.
there. That's
That's
always
always there.
That's always
And
there.
that's where that first client, I can understand when you
Mhm.
say that that client helped you find back that that footing.
Yeah.
For you to continue and be where you are today.
Absolutely, man. That was the first client. Obviously, after that, for second client, third client, for that kept on coming. But that first client who has actually called me and said, "Let's
Yes,
meet
yes, that
and
first-
let's do something." So that
Absolutely.
was, I must say, I can describe it as a eureka moment. Instead of all negativities, all everything, doing a lot of critics across. This one person trusted me, and he's still my client, by the way. Still, he is doing a couple of trips every year with me, and that's what I think. I describe it as one of the eureka moments for
I
us.
think when eureka moments can be many. It can be finding your path, finding your goals, or simply finding someone. It's as simple as that. When your life finds a dimension, and I think like you. Abhishek, we've never had this conversation like now that we know each other for nearly 2 years through our networking association. But like you, my first venture as an entrepreneur was a failure. Okay, and prior to that, I had a solid corporate life. Never ever had I failed, missed numbers, never. So for me, like that failure was so much needed. People would have thought that will go back to a corporate life, but I didn't. And I think that is where resilience again comes into play.
True.
Because to me, that was a wake up call. That made me realize I don't know a lot. I need to learn. I need to relearn.
True.
I need to build up my skill sets. And as you mentioned, now you're breaking away from those, those thoughts and those, predestined, information in our brains. It is so important to get rid of it, upskill yourself,
Yes.
and relearn. And you know what? Some of my personal experiences, when I think, also has a lot of resonance in other people's life. I'm sure, like
I'm sure.
it would be
I'm
there
sure.
with a lot of
Sure,
people.
sure, absolutely.
And one of the pillar on which our platform Searching Soulmate is built is actually upskilling, because we believe that and it's not something we are saying, it is something which renowned psychologists and psychiatrists from various parts of the country have said that the minute you feel that I know it all, it's the end. The more inquisitive you are, the more you want to keep on learning, keep on growing in terms of experiences, knowledge, skills. You keep on growing as an individual.
True, absolutely. Agree, 100%.
And I think that is something which I have learned a little hard way. But now that I have learned, I don't want to ever let go of that.
I think that's you have rightly said that. I think this is one of the you have to come out of that comfort zone factor.
Yeah.
That is what is
Yeah.
important. I
Yeah.
could have gone ahead with my corporate
Yes,
hotels and
yes,
all those things. It is
absolutely.
always said, there is a famous saying that hotelier is not a billionaire but lives a life like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like that.
You-
I could have continued
yeah,
with
yeah,
that life, but somehow
absolutely.
let's break and let something of my own.
Absolutely.
That could have been a wrong decision. Of course, I understand that could go wrong.
Yeah.
I could have gone bankrupt. I could have done whatever. But yeah, there is always a second factor which keeps on playing.
And I think I always believe that fortune favors the brave.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the right quote at the right time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Abhishek, tell me something like, you have a hotel management background. So, does that background help in any way to help you curate or design the travel experiences?
Well, I must say every experience really matters. Whatever, every learning really matters. Okay. Now, let me go back to my hotel days. I have already said, I have got one was the operation part and second was the sales part. Operation part was more into, doing, handling guests and, now that particular job role required a very minute eye for detail. Eye for detail is very important. You cannot miss any details of your guests. If you miss, it's a disaster. It's there. It will invite complaints. It will invite a lot of other guest dissatisfactions. Now, this is one aspect. Number one. Number two is the commercial aspect. When I got shifted to sales, and this was my longest tenure. Rather, when I was in sales for a very long period in the hotel industry. But this has got its own, learning. Let me tell you, from a operation person to a salesperson was a paradigm shift for me. Okay, it helped me to learn the negotiations, draft making, tendering, proposal making, etc. And what it really helped me is with the relation making with the clients. Okay, now clients can come and go. People leave their jobs and go to the next company, but relation continues. Is there. And if I summarize what I learned, definitely eye for details is very important for the travels. You cannot miss the details. You have to check each and every details while a guest is traveling. It can be the sector booking, ticket booking, hotel booking, client preferences, meal plan, visa rules, etc., etc. You cannot afford to miss anything. So this was one takeaway from me. And of course, even if you do that, it will only happen when you have got sales. Okay. Now, sales includes, of course, negotiations. It includes, sending offers, proposals, tender applications, etc., etc. So these are two vital things which I actually learned from them. But as I have already said, you walk and you learn. And every journey you are having, you learn, and there is always a takeaway for you for next venture, whatever you are doing.
Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel